Third question is going to Daniel. Until recent events surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, the United States economy was steadily growing, and the majority of U.S. market sectors were achieving record level performance. As a United States Senator, what specific federal initiatives will you advocate or support that will re-energize U.S. markets and expeditiously restore our former vibrant economy?
Well, the Trump economy was famously great until basically the end of February when the COVID panic, I should say, hit us, and that's when we lost 33 million jobs, and that's the situation we're in right now with lots and lots of people suffering. So let's review. When President Trump gets his way on regulatory reform, when he gets his way on lower taxes, when he gets his way on competition, protecting us from dumping from the Chinese markets, for example, what do we get? We get record low Hispanic unemployment. We get record low Black unemployment. We get record low unemployment for veterans. We get record low unemployment overall. So what we need to do is return to that. And the way to do that is not to just pretend like the free market system all of a sudden stopped working when the COVID panic hit. As a matter of fact, the free market system is the only thing, it's the only horse that's going to pull this wagon out of the bog in the first place. And so what do we need to do? We need to go do regulatory reform. Regulatory reform is number one. It's so hard right now to start a business in one state, and then you have to, if you're going to grow it outside the state boundaries, all too often you face other states' regulatory regimes. And that's something that Congress can take care of under the Interstate Commerce Clause, and they should. We need to get regulatory reform that's broad-based. The second thing is we need to maintain our low tax regime. So I talked earlier about balanced budgets, and I agree with my past self that we need a balanced budget amendment. But what we need to do is grow our way to balanced budgets, not just cut spending willy-nilly. That's not the right approach. So what we can do is get the heck out of the way of the innovative, creative, thoughtful, aggressive American producer and get back to a place where those folks can thrive, because ultimately that's the only thing that's going to get us out of this. You know, the Democrats, they have this knee-jerk thing that when they face a crisis, what do? They try to centralize power in Washington, D.C. And my goal is to centralize power in the American people, which is exactly what our founders did when they wrote the Constitution. And we need to just stick to that, and we'll be fine.
Okay, thanks, Daniel. Tom?
The first thing I'm going to do is make sure that never, ever happens again, that we shut down our economy because of for all intents and purposes, a fake pandemic. Everybody ran around with their heads cut off like they were chickens, telling everybody that we were going to have 2 million people dead and we needed 40,000 ventilators. And if you go back and you look what I said on Facebook, and what I said for weeks was that everybody just needed to relax and calm down and stop panicking. I know that people are out there that were scared. It's totally understandable, okay? Because they deliberately tried to scare the bejesus out of everybody to shut down the economy. The very first thing I will do, and I've been involved in large plans like that in the past, okay? Large plans, war plans and things like that, they all have somewhere there's a book, a binder of a response for a global pandemic. And that's what they did. They pulled a book off the shelf that was going to be the response for a global pandemic, and they overreacted and they shut the economy down. I have a lot of questions about this pandemic. The number one thing that I have a question about is the stock market was at 29,000. In a week, it dropped to 19,000. So that means everybody sold off at 29 and bought back in at 19. Now it's back up to 27. So more than likely 27,000, or at least it was the other day. It might be down a little bit from that. I'm not sure. But my point is that means they took profits and then they bought back in, and now they have their profits back again. I want to know what happened to all that money, because that means that people took profits out of the stock market at 29, bought back in at 19, and now it's back up to 27 again. So there's something going on here. When we only have 130,000 deaths or so, when they told us we were going to have 2 million and we needed 40,000 ventilators, they scared everybody to death. I will make sure that we never, ever shut down the economy again on a terror tactic that was used against the American people in this pandemic. And you can go back and you can look at what I said on YouTube and on Facebook. It's all over both of my Facebook and YouTube channel.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Elisa, same question to you.
All
Do you
right,
need
Mark,
to repeat
and
it or are you good?
I might need a refresher. I know it was starting with the economy.
Okay. Until recent events surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic, the United States economy was steadily growing and the majority of U.S. market sectors were achieving record level performance. As a United States Senator, what specific federal initiatives will you advocate or support that will re-energize U.S. markets and expeditiously restore our formerly vibrant economy?
Yes, great, thank you. So we saw what happened with the COVID closures is that supply and demand wreaked havoc on our economic system as well. Who knew that toilet paper was the new gold standard? And yet that's what happened. And gas prices went down because people weren't traveling as much. But as far as what we need to advocate for from the federal government perspective, it's deregulation, hands down. The less government involvement and interference in our business community, the better that our entrepreneurs can do, and in particular our small businesses, which we know are the backbone of American society and American economics. And so in order to grow those businesses, we need to deregulate, which I think encourages diversification and the creative entrepreneurial spirit that makes America so great. Absolutely, the free market enterprise system needs to be built back up. And I think a way of doing that is to say goodbye to the Federal Reserve and to the IRS, which are not constitutionally provisioned agencies of the federal government. And just another example of how the federal government has grown its power and taken on authority which it does not have under the Constitution. And then lastly, I would say this. As an American and as a senator, I would absolutely be mindful of where the money is appropriated and where it's allocated so that we have with that greater accountability. We have too much spending at the federal government level, and yet you can't really track that so carefully because it's so convoluted. They allocate and appropriate in one direction, but does the money actually reach its intended target to benefit our economic system? And I am grateful for President Trump's leadership before this crisis to make sure that our economic system was strong, and then during this crisis and as we move forward to help us recover and rebound and grow America's business community strong again on behalf of all consumers.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
Hey, Mark, can I just interject really quick? Somebody asked me if where this is being streamed because they're having real trouble getting on it. Apparently, Constitutional County's Facebook page is private and not adding anybody right now. So I don't know if you have access to an admin. You can text really quick and add people. But I'm afraid that the audience is smaller than it could be otherwise.
Bear with me 1 second.
I hate for us to be yelling into a popcorn box, you know?
Great analogy.
Yeah, it's a good one, right?
That's a great analogy.
Oh, Or maybe you could just post the recording later, but I think you're gonna have trouble getting, obviously comments are gonna be a little tough to get if nobody can find it right now.
Right. Yeah, it looks like everybody that has requested to be part of it has been allowed in.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. I just
No, that's perfectly fine.
trying to be helpful.
This particular topic had two questions